to my friends of it yet. Jumble ruins. Ah, fuck you, game.
Ugh.
Are you alright? Guess you can't just go back up here, can you, Zelda?
Guess you can't just go back up here holding onto a bird as it floats up. I'm sure something like that will be a dumb meme comic.
Oh, I'm dying. Of course you do.
You just run past everything, swim past everything. Twirl like your life depends on it, because it does.
Can't get me up here!
Starts rising up.
Ha! Take this, punk! Click. These are like stupid spammable, which is hilarious.
Those statues look like they've seen some shit.
Purple bottom. Purple water. So it must be colored.
Red, blue, purplish, pink, white, and yellow. Wow, that's a weird Sentai team. Hey look, more Force 2D.
I'll make my own water.
It was blackjack.
Yeah, I can hook. Haha.
I've seen some people complain about them giving you a dungeon map early.
I prefer that to, oh yeah, we're like 5 minutes away from beating the dungeon.
It's one of those, that's when you get the stupid elitist. The purpose of the dungeon map is to clean up things you've missed. It's like, you've guided through the dungeon normally, now that you've guided through it normally, they give you the dungeon map at the end. Remember, that's the logic Okami uses, and that's why it gives you its maps at basically the end.
Ooh, shark.
Big boy.
Spammable! This is so stupid.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best way.
Ow.
Because, like, it's technically a hefty cost, but the the thing is, because of the stun, especially in the water where they die, it's like, what are you gonna do?
How are you gonna get them? Skeleton power? This is one of
Oh my god! Oh.
Because of it. Ooh, yeah, that was some big damage. Because of it costing 3, I kind of wish that it did more damage, or at least slightly more.
Okay. Alright. Good night. Min-maxing.
Optimizing the fun out of the game.
Excellent. Oh.
Miss.
Hit him, you idiot.
It's just too high.
If he did the wave, it would have been fine.
Yeah, if it's just too high.
No,
I feel like at... I was gonna say, I feel like at this point you could just P-hat, or you could go up there and smack him.
Semantically.
You could also, because you're in water, just
No.
use water.
No, the wing guys. Oh, that's funny. They're just pushing them around. Kill him! Thanks, bud. Love you. Okay, yep, that's an opening. If Pete had on patrol.
That takes care of that.
Rope. Where we came in.
Where does that rope lead? Oh, a door. It's a door out.
Yeah. But. Booyah!
Oh no, here's some enemy crabs. But they're not of the giant variety.
That works way too well. Because it dies instantly, but it starts flipping out.
It's amazing how Sony had a the 2006 PS3 moment not once but twice. 2006 E3 moment. Not once but twice. This is also funny because the, like, 96, like, E3, so, you know, like, 95 or 96 E3, so, you know, like, basically 10 years earlier, they just walked on stage, $2.99.
$2.99.
And then they just leave.
Because they undercut Sega. 5 minutes. After Sega's thing. Because they decided, literally, to do that within 5 minutes.
So you think, considering that they used that marketing strategy back at the end, that they would have thought about, hey, like...
Damn it. Thanks, bud.
This should not be as effective as it is.
Someone said that was like the best underwater attack. Until you have to deal with like other electric enemies that I can just easily outrun those guys.
You should not be this powerful at this point in the game.
What do you mean?
969. Ah, yeah.
I don't see any problems with this.
You shouldn't be this powerful.
No.
Stop doing that, game.
No, there's a torch underwater. Oh, wait. No, I'm an idiot. If I can target it. I bet I can. Yep. Yeah, because water puts out.
How do we have fire underwater?
Oh, back to my lad. I don't care if it's technically minimum damage. This is amazing.
Hey ladies, want to see my buzz ball? It tingles when you touch it.
Damn it. What do you mean I shouldn't be this powerful?
You shouldn't be this powerful.
Well, there's a problem.
When I say you shouldn't be this powerful, you shouldn't be this powerful. No one man should have all this power.
Okay, Goodbye, fools.
No, the game shouldn't reward this.
Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Water. Good. Okay. Oh yeah. I love you, magical tiles.
Yes. I think it's a bit too high. Yeah. Yeah, it's too high.
Doesn't stop my boy. He voted. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what is your overall opinion on this dungeon? I know I'm not done with the dungeon, and I effectively cut the dungeon in half in order to make a slightly shorter part because the entire dungeon went on a while, so I thought it would be better to effectively split this dungeon into basically 2 parts. But in general, the most common opinion of this dungeon amuses me because people are annoyed that you can use a couple of easy to get echoes to basically invalidate this entire dungeon. It's entirely possible to skip that first trap, enter the main room of the dungeon, use a couple of echoes to climb up to the 2nd floor, go get the boss key. After getting the boss key, go back to the main room, climb up to the boss door, and effectively beat the dungeon in like 5 minutes. People don't like the fact that you can basically climb up to the 2nd floor, go get the boss key, and then climb up to the boss door and beat the dungeon. Even though a lot of you are the same motherfuckers that praised Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom because of the general unfettered freedom you could get in those games, but only now, in a game that has a little bit more structure, do you realize why unfettered freedom can be a bad thing? Because all of a sudden, you don't like that you can easily break a dungeon, and you get really annoyed at how easy that is to do. But that's a good example of why unfettered freedom needs some restrictions, and it can still be a fun, creative endeavor. I just find it funny that people are now starting to realize that in order to create engaging Zelda dungeons, you actually need to restrict the player so that you can't cheese the dungeon. Because if you cheese the dungeon, you're effectively cheesing the level design, and that does become kind of pointless. And I do find that really funny. People finally realized unfettered freedom can become incredibly boring because people will basically use the same solutions to any problem in the game, and people are starting to realize that restrictions actually breed creativity and actually cause you to think about things slightly differently and actually force you to engage with the game. And people are starting to realize that they need to restrict your freedom in order to make a good Zelda dungeon, and it seems like they're starting to basically do that on Nintendo's end, Echoes of Wisdom was handled by a different team, but that team seems to have realized that they could have unfettered freedom and restrictions and try to meet in the middle. And they came really close. If that team were to make another game, I feel like at that point they would have restrictions and freedom meshed in a way that would give you a lot of creative control without being able to completely break the game. But this was a good first attempt. I just find it hilarious that all of a sudden people are like, maybe we don't need open games that give you the ability to have an infinite number of solutions because people will basically break those games wide open, skipping past all the intended design in order to basically do what you want. And when you find one solution that solves most of your problems, you're likely going to use that solution over and over again. So, overall, I don't think this dungeon is that bad. I just find it funny that this dungeon made people realize that open games do need some restriction, especially if they continue to make open Zelda games, because people finally realized you can't have a good, engaging Zelda dungeon unless it's restrictive, and people are finally open to that concept, which is good because I was screaming about that years ago, and so was Carson. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.